what were those three questions he asked? Yes, your last name is fairly well known, Nalwa, but if you can explain to the rest of the audience that what were the questions for the first three questions, or what's the story behind your last name?
The first question asked me, he happened to be from the south of India. So the first question he asked me was about Nalwa itself. He said, I've never heard this surname before. Where exactly do you come from? So I told him that from the Punjab. Then he wanted to know what the name meant. So I gave him a brief on that. And then he wanted to know where exactly my ancestors came from. So I could answer that. But when he went on to greater depths about the Sikh Empire and exactly when it started, and I didn't have any clue.
Wow. And I think it's a good place to start when you know nothing. So it's a clear palette. On the palette, you can put right things in the right fashion. You can be factual, you can be historic, and you can be the right historian one could be without being biased. The only bias I could say is your last name. But could you talk about your work in the realms of Sikh history and the historic perspective?
Like you said, the last time I did history was when I was in class 8, and I hated the subject. And the reason I hated the subject was because the way it was taught to us, it was totally impersonal. And we were taught about Mughal kings, we were taught about governor generals. These guys had nothing to do with my life. In no way could I relate myself to how many wives Akbar had. How would that interest me, and why would it interest me? So when this gentleman asked me these questions, and the twin towers fell, I went to the National Archives of India and I asked them if they would allow me access. And I told them that I was not a historian, I was a trained neuropsychologist. And she looked a little quizzed and she said, why exactly do you want to come here? I said, well, I want to research into family history. Suddenly there was a change of expression and she looked really excited and she said, really, welcome, we are looking for people like you. I said, why is that? She said, most people who come here to do a PhD or a MA or a dissertation of some kind, and they are doing it in a very impersonal fashion. They just want to get their information, take it and leave. But you're doing it with a totally different motivation. And we would really like to encourage that. So I said, I don't know nothing about archival research. She said, well, I'll introduce you. So she took me to there was only one printed index. The printed index starts after 1831, I think. So I went to the printed index and I could only find one reference into the topic I was searching, and that was about